So I got in this thing, the car, on Thursday, or no, I guess it was probably Tuesday night. So I got in the car on Tuesday night just to kind of drive it around the block before I even had a plate on it or had it registered. And I sat in it and I had a moment of panic. And then I screwed it up. I'm like, man, I'm much fatter than I was back when I had this in the beginning. And this has a really great aftermarket steering wheel on it. It's fatter like a BMW steering wheel. And I was like, oh my gosh, what have I done? I can't even fit in this thing anymore. You know, I put the seat all the way back and I'm like, I can't even sit in this thing. I can't fit. And I said, what the heck did I do? Well, so I immediately tore out the seat cover. So the guy put seat covers on it. They're really nice. They're from a company called Clazio, C-L-A-Z-I-O. But I'm not going to stick with the seat covers. I think there's a tear in the passenger seat. And so he put seat covers on it to protect the seats, which I'm glad he did, because seats were protected while he owned it, but I don't want them. I'm pulling those suckers off. We'll do a full leather ink treatment to them when my seat rails come, my lower seat rails. But I couldn't fit, so I pulled the seat cover off. And my head was hitting the ceiling, and I'm like, what the heck is going on here? And then I remembered that I need to have the seat not all the way back, slightly back, and then tilted backward, and then all was okay. It's still tight. And so I ordered Backyard Special seat rails. They make a seat rail that lowers it about 1 inch, which makes a big difference in this car. Just 1 inch, moves your eye level down, substantially. And then if I may modify the seat cushion as well to get it a little bit lower so that I fit a little better in the car. There's definitely something on here. I wonder what's on the paint. We're going to find out. Because there's tons of beading. You can tell, and the water's running off of it. So anyway, I pulled the seat cover off, and so I have one seat cover off. We'll take the other one off here in a minute and see assess the damage, see what the seat looks like. But at my first glance here, the paint looks really great. There's a pretty significant chip or scratch on the door, but I might just Dr. Color chip that. I need to order this color paint. But let's get the thing focused. I'm telling you guys, 6-gallon buckets are by far the best version. It's like the perfect size. I can get all the way around the car without having to come back and fill it up. 7-gallon was just a little bit too big and bulky. And so my new bucket vinyl is incredible. So I don't have the bucket package yet. What's up? Again, the S2000 is a small car, so I don't need to fill the foam cannon all the way up because we'll have it covered in a second. But those of you who are waiting for buckets, or waiting for me to have a package. Again, these are Grickard dollies, and I mean, you could probably go and do it all on your own. You could buy my vinyl and do it yourself, or you can just buy it from me. And regardless, it's going to cost about the same. So, but it's going to be really expensive. So don't get your feelings hurt when you see that it's I think it's going to be around $300 for the package of the 3 buckets, the grit guards, the gamma seals, everything installed and shipped and all that stuff. So just prepare yourself mentally for that. And those of you who are going to get all butthurt about me charging that, that's just what it costs. So I mean, I don't know what else to say about that. Let's foam the thing. This again is Adam's car shampoo, pH balance. I love this stuff. So, I mean, at first glance, the paint looks great. I have the car sitting back a little further than normal, so the boom pole, I don't have it centered on the boom pole, is why I have to keep pulling it out past it. Just dump the rest of it in the bucket here. I don't know why this is, but if I leave this little bit of water in here, I find that it never suds up as well as the first time I mix it. So I always just dump the rest in the bucket. You know, it's kind of funny that, again, I was talking about the Facebook group and how big it's gotten. And it's interesting to me how, you know, there's the originals, the original Obsessed Garage, you know, people, the part of the community. You know, the guys that, you know, when we were 300 or 400 of us, and you know, so the group has become just kind of a big detailing group, which is cool. Cool with me. But, you know, some garage related, some personal related. I would like to continue to see more people share about their, you know, their personal situation, connect with others, and, you know, meet up throughout the country and things like that. But, you know, it's interesting. Some people have this false opinion of me, like you know, I've been using this Adams wash pad forever because I haven't found anything better, and you know, and I have some scratches on my GT3, which I'm almost certain it's just from going too far in between washes and not having protection on the paint. It really didn't matter if I use this mitt or some other mitt, it's going to scratch it. But, you know, there's some comments about, yeah, you would never change, or, you know, I hope you don't get the sense I'm not some like stubborn dude that won't you know, make a change or listen to coaching, or like I'm not dug in on anything. So I have some opinions about things, but I'm willing to change my process. Shoot, you know, how many times I've changed it since I even started making videos. It's insane the amount of changes that I've done in my process. So, but the really cool thing, and this is something I'd hoped would happen, is that Obsessed Garage would become bigger than me. I mean, I guess I could have, you know, dreamed of that. But it's funny now how many posts are like, who the heck is Matt? Which is cool, you know. So there's people that are in the group that don't watch the YouTube channel, that just kind of stumbling upon Obsessed Garage from, you know, from all places, all over the place. I can already tell the paint is dialed. Another thing we're going to work on here in a minute, I hope I can get this tint off of the lens without delaminating the headlight, because that's not going to work for me. So people in the Obsessed Garage group are like, who the heck is Matt? And this cracks me up. I'm like, that is freaking awesome. And it's big enough that people don't even know who started it or why it was started, or have any, they just know it's a detailing group or a car group or a garage group of garage people. That's cool. So let's talk about modifications. The first modification I'll be doing is demodifying the tinted headlights. I can't stand the tinted headlights. I don't understand why you would want that. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Why would I want to tint the, you know, the light output, or hurt the light output of my headlights so it can't see as well? It doesn't make any sense to me. There's no benefit to that. So I'm going to be yanking that off, and I hope I don't have to wet sand and refinish the headlights, because once you do that, they're never the same. And so then what I'll do is I'll go out and start searching for another set of headlights. I don't think Honda OEM makes any parts for this anymore. I'm not sure. Maybe one of you guys can point me in the direction, like if I need to buy headlights here. We're going to find out in a little bit if I do. I don't think I can buy them anymore. I think I'd have to find them used. So let's talk modifications. I can't decide what step one needs to be. Now, I have this thing and I drove it once, and oh my God, is this thing slow in comparison to what I remember it being. I remember it being a rocket ship. I'm like, or at least, pretty darn fast. And I'm jaded now with a 500 horsepower GT3 and a 550, 60 horsepower GT350. And this thing is, 200 with 140 foot-pounds of torque at the wheels. It doesn't go anywhere in comparison to what I'm used to. So I'm absolutely positively supercharging this thing, but I'm not sure what to start with first. So here's what I'm thinking, modification-wise. Notice OEM hardtop is on the thing. I'm probably going to do a Mugen carbon hardtop. Now, not the reinforced version, but do the real deal carbon hardtop. Now, I remember from back in my day when I was messing with these cars, there's always this rumor that that hardtop doesn't fit. Well, the fake ones don't fit, but the real one fits like OEM. And so that will be something I'll do down the line. I'm not going to do that right now because I already have the OEM hardtop, which looks fantastic. So I won't be doing that right away, but that's something that I will most likely be doing, because that was part of the dream, was to always have a Mugen carbon fiber hardtop. Now I don't like the hood. I like the factory hood, or I think it's the is it the ASM dry carbon with the slit, that kind of folds down and there's like a slit across the front. Again, maybe that would be a cool thing to do, but as of right now, that's not a priority. It's something that I'll do maybe in the future. Still remember how to open. You can see how sloped this is because the buckets are always running away from me. First modification will be removing this. I'll show you that in a minute. A couple minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. So, wheels, tires, suspension. I'd like to do cup 2s on this, but I think I'm going to go wider. So I'm torn on. Sorry about that. I almost went from top to bottom, or bottom to top there for a second. I don't want you guys screaming at me. So part of I really wanted a staggered setup. A lot of people in this car are doing square. If you're not familiar with what square versus stagger means, you would have square would be have the same size wheels and tires front and rear, which is very different than factory. These factories are 245 and I think 205s. I wonder what he has in the front here. Oh no, he has 225s on it. Oh, I didn't even notice that. Cool. So 225. Oh, sweet, 255. So I think they come stock with a 205, 245. And so we have some more meat on this thing. All right, so I just switched to deionized water. I can't tell if the front windshield is tinted or not. I should ask them. I hope it is. So, back to modification talk. I think I'm gonna do Pilot Sport Cup 2s So if I do that, then I'll end up going square. So I'll do 255 front, 255 rear. And so then I would do a square wheel setup as well. But in order to do that, I would need to do wider fenders in the front because I don't want to flare the factory fenders. Oops. So initially I didn't want to roll it. I just wanted to put wheels on that fit. The problem with doing wheels that fit, especially in the rear, is then you have this sunk look. When I'm lowered, then they're sunk in, they're not flush. I don't want any poke. I don't want the thing poking out. But I want it to be flush. And in order to be flush, I'm gonna have to just suck it up. I'm gonna have to roll the fenders. Originally I didn't want to do that, but it's something I'm gonna have to do. And so in order to do what I really want is I really want endless brakes. Don't ask me why, I just do. I always have one of those blue calipers. So I'm gonna do endless six piston calipers in the front. They don't make a big brake kit, complement for the rear on this car, which really stinks. I don't think anybody does. So I'll just, there's plenty of guys that have done it to adjust the car to make sure the brake bias is proper. So I'll be sure to dial that in as well. But in order to do endless brakes, you have to do pretty aggressive offsets in the front. And so that's what's headed me down, chasing the trail of, what do I need to do to the fenders to get them to fit. And there's a company called DFS, I don't know, or Downforce, that make DFS fenders that are OEM-like. I think they're fiberglass reinforced plastic, but they are 30 millimeters wider. So which is an inch, roughly an inch plus, inch and 1.2 inches or so wider. So then I'll be able to get the track of the front out, fit the 255s in the front, get the Pilot Sport Cup 2s on the car, front and rear, have a square setup, and then I'll be able to fit my endless brakes behind 17s. I think I really want 17s. I think these cars look best with 17s. And so I'm going to do Öhlins DFV, so the Öhlins DFV coilovers, Volk CE 28Ns. So I think the offset is like plus 44 or something like that, and there'll be a 17 by 9.5. So I'll do a square 17 by 9.5 setup. I'll have to roll the rear fenders. I'll have to relocate the bumper tab, which just have to cut off the tab and make sure that the plastic or the fiberglass bumper or whatever the bumper's made out of, so make sure that it still fits. So again, I don't want to ghetto it up. I'm going to do it right, but that is something that I think I'm going to have to do if I want the car with the tires that I want, the brakes that I want. I'm going to have to go, I think, much more aggressive offsets than what I was thinking. And so actually talking to you on camera right now is when I just decided, because if I really want Cup 2s on this car, I love Cup 2s on my GT3. So if I want those tires, I don't think they make them in a 17 in any size, but I think they make them in a 215, but I want wider than a 215 in the front. And so I'm going to have to compromise and do the square setup. So I'm pretty sure I just made that decision right now. So endless brakes with street pads. I'm going to be doing Öhlins DFV, Volk CE 28Ns. I think I'm going to do them in gloss black. Bronze is cool. It sort of takes me back to my JDM roots. I had bronze 16 CE 28Ns on my AP1, which I thought was super cool. I was all about light back then for some reason. Light isn't going to matter on this thing because I'm going to be doing a Kraftwerk supercharger. So I'm probably going to do a stage 2, custom tuned Kraftwerk supercharger, which will make this thing, 410, 420 wheel horsepower, 260, 70 foot-pounds of torque. So this sucker's going to be a monster. then it'll be formidable in comparison to my other cars. Let's take a look under the hood, see what it looks like. Maybe I'll spray it off while we're here. It looks pretty clean. So of course the Kraftwerk supercharger, this whole air box will come out. It sits on the front. I need a new serpentine belt. I want to do that all at once. I'm also going to do, so one of the things I've wanted really badly is a Toda header, Toda test pipe, Toda exhaust. And so when we do the Kraftwerk supercharger, I'll add the test pipe. I think I'll probably start with the header and exhaust, then I'll add the test pipe when I do the supercharger. So I'll most likely do wheels, tires, suspension, exhaust, do that kind of, you know, relatively soon, and then add the supercharger, you know, shortly after that. You know, I'd like to do that, you know, this year, get all that stuff done. But, you know, it's a lot of money, so I'm going to take it slowly. Hopefully I keep selling lots of cool stuff in the Obsessed Garage store. But you know what, I take it back. I'm going to clean the engine bay while we're here. Let's just do it. While we're here, let's dial in the engine bay. Real quick cleaning. Really doesn't need a lot. Just want to get that debris out of here. So if you've never done this to an engine bay, don't get panicked. As long as I don't spray up in the box, and even if I did, the box has a drain out the bottom of it, so we don't really have to worry about that much. It's this is, I guess, a label for some sort of low jack or something like that. Get this off of there. So when we do the Kraftwerk supercharger, I'll probably do a new radiator. Obviously the intercooler will be down here as part of it. So I'm not going to mess with an intake because I'll be doing the supercharger. You know, the reason why I want to do a supercharger over a turbo is I want to retain the, you know, the feel, that linear power delivery. I'm not a turbo kind of guy. I'll probably do all new. This is Griot's engine cleaner. So I'll do all new, probably rubber in here, clean this all up while I'm at it. You know, when I'm doing the supercharger. This is Auto Finesse Obliterate. Just to get this off of here. And just agitate some of this. And I'm not doing a full dialing in, I just want to clean it up a bit. Just get the standing dirt off of here. It's pretty clean under here though, just there was some pollen and junk I wanted to clean up. Cool. All right, let's hose it off. figured it was really smart to get started off right with the S2K community again by doing a engine bay cleaning, because people are going to lose their minds that I sprayed underneath here as if it doesn't get wet when you drive it around. I mean, maybe you want to cover the battery, but even then I haven't had any issues doing it this way. So this is Meguiar's hyper dressing D178 or something like that, I think. And so I just spray this on. I think I have this diluted like 4:1, so I get a nice matte finish on all this area. And so you really don't need to dry it. You just spray it on and let it go. My first S2000, actually my second S2000, I learned my lesson using Griot's, those aerosol-based engine dressing or engine detail sprays, and I ruined it, and that stuff doesn't come off. And so that's it. I just wanted to dust it off. This has already started to green, but again, it won't matter because we'll be doing a supercharger in the not too distant future. But doing that is not going to hurt anything, so chill. While this is wet, let's see if we can't pull this off. Yeah, I'll get Michelle's hair dryer, and we'll do that after we dry the car. Let's blow it off. I think I got started using a leaf blower on my 07 S2000. I think that's when I first started using it. This is my edgeless drying towel in the Obsessed Garage store, obsessedgaragestore.com if you haven't been there yet. But these are great for drying, and I'm using Ammo Hydrate. I don't really know what's on the paint, but it looks really great. Looks good. I don't detect any swirling or anything, at least from the overhead lights. This is virtually rock chip free. There's a few little chips on the front here, but nothing drastic. Let's see what else. Kraftwerk supercharger. DFS wider front fenders, endless brakes. Lowering the seats with a backyard special. Lowered seat rails, factory seats. Looks like the glass might need polished. I'm going to pull this tape off, regardless of whether I do a Mugen hardtop or not. Oh yeah, the hardtop is not so great. This was, I think, repainted. And there's straight sanding marks. And I'm going to have to grind the crap out of this thing to get that out. And then there's a chip right here, a pretty bad one. But man, it looks like I expected it to. It looks great. It's a clean S2000. Is it 25 grand clean? Yeah, probably. So again, I think he bought the hardtop. I think it was black. Man, I wish he'd left it black. Yeah, you can see it's so. Good enough for me to keep it on the car, but Might not quite be up to the standard of the rest of the car is in, shape the rest of the car is in. There's some clear film right here, which I'm sure I'll pull off. And then I'm sure I'll do, I don't know why I like them so much, but like all the different frame braces, like Cusco frame rails and strut tower brace and all that kind of fun stuff that's easy to install, fun to order. I'm sure I'll do all that stuff too. Some of the ASM parts. Be doing that in the, under the hood and, throughout the suspension of the car, just because I think it's cool. So this is good. I don't need to rush into doing any kind of major correction on this thing. The paint looks good. I don't even need to get the lights out to know that it's in good shape. Again, he had it corrected, I just didn't know by whom and what they'd put on it. Man, I'd forgotten how small this car is and how easy it is to clean, wipe down. All right, let's do the windows. Old trusty Griot's window cleaner. Yeah, guys, this thing looks great. So the hard top is gonna, either I'm gonna blow through the paint and repaint it, or it's gonna polish out. We'll see. Let's see, is this? I think the windshield is tinted. I'll have to ask the guy. Just looking at the dot matrix to see if I can tell. If it is, it's a really good job. The plastics look good. Probably use a little deep cleaning and some wax up in here. See if I can't tuck my towel in here and get this off. Yeah, from the looks of the crevices, looks like this car's waxed, so that's good. Pretty contaminant free. I found that my S2000's always stayed pretty contaminant free. I don't know, the paint just doesn't pick up junk like other cars that I have. Because what happens when the force pulls you back, your foot naturally comes off the gas. You have to keep your foot to the floor.